Alright, so today we are going to be doing a scorpion video. That's right, everybody. It's actually a Waluigi video. I think this moveset is probably not something you would ever do in an actual game. However, I actually wrote down what this one was, unlike the scorpion one. So scorpion will be the next one. Sorry about that. Anyway, on to the... Okay, so for Waluigi's neutral special, he will have a quite unique special, which will have him use an item box, which will start the item roulette, and will choose from these items on screen. I'll go over what they each do in a minute, but for now, it is the banana, the multi-banana, the coin, the item box, the super mushroom, the triple mushroom, the shell, the triple shell, the red shell, the triple red shell, the lightning, the bob-omb, the boo, the fire flower, the boomerang flower, the bullet bill, the mega mushroom, the mini mushroom, the feather, the super leaf, and the pow block. When you hit the B button, this will start the item roulette and will then pick from one of these items. No one item is more rare to be got than the others. However, some can be better in different situations than others. Now that you have your item, what are you going to do with it? Well, let's go over what all the items do and how you're supposed to use it. For the banana, you will hold B once it is in your item box selection, and the longer you hold B, the longer it will be held behind you. While it's held, or once it's placed on the ground, it can block one of any attack, projectile or otherwise, and once it's placed on the ground, it will work pretty much identical to Diddy Kong's down B, slipping opponents and making them fall on the ground for a few seconds. The multi-banana works pretty much exactly like the single banana. However, you don't have to hold B to have it be placed behind you. Once you push B, it will automatically all three be held behind you in a straight line. This will only change once you hit B again, placing them sequentially 1, 2, and 3. This will, of course, give you 3 extra hits from behind, but only from behind. You can place these as well, allowing for 3 Diddy Kong style bananas on the ground at once. And I think it good to mention this now, but you can only ever have 3 items on the ground at once, because there's several items you can have on the ground, so only 3 at once. For Waluigi, he will not only have an item display, he will also have a coin counter, which we'll talk about a little more later, but all you need to know for right now is that when you get this as an item in the item roulette, you will automatically get 2 coins, but you have to use the item, of course. The fake item box will work exactly like the bananas, where you can hold it behind you for as long as you want, and also place it on the ground. However, if an opponent hits the fake item box, they will not only fall on the ground, they will also get 10% damage done to them, because it's quite a bit bigger than the banana, and you gotta be pretty stupid to just walk right into, a giant box on the ground. The dash mushroom will do pretty much what you'd expect. It will have Waluigi dash forward, and anyone in their path will take damage and some knockback. Pretty much exactly like Banjo's side B, except for it's not limited. Well, you only get 1 use, but it's you could get it 100 times in a match. The triple dash mushroom is literally the exact same thing as the thing we just talked about, except for you get 3 uses of it. He will always go in the direction you're facing, so don't attempt to do a directional input beforehand, or you'll do a side B instead of a neutral B. There will be a difference between the green and red shell, which might be a little surprising that I figured something out, but the red shell is not homing like it is in most. Instead, the green shell is affected by gravity, and the red shell is not affected by gravity. The green shell and the red shell can be held behind you just like the banana, and once you release the button, it will shoot out. Depending on which one it is, will change what it does. The same gravity, non-gravity thing will happen with these 2, the triple shells. However, instead, it will work more similar to the multi-banana, in which you don't have to hold the button, and instead you push the button and it will start spinning around you. This will work similarly to Mario Kart 8, which is a thing that I don't like about that game with their bananas and their shells, is that depending on which one is broken, will determine whether or not you will be hit by the next thing. So if it's not directly behind you, it will not work. And if it's not directly in front of you, it will not work. If it's on the y-axis anywhere, or I should say the z-axis, it will not work. And you will be hit. The lightning item will work exactly like the lightning item that's already in the game, allowing you to shrink opponents while keeping yourself normal sized, giving you a slight advantage over your opponent. For the Bob-omb, you'll be able to hold it behind you just like all the other items that we've mentioned so far that you can hold behind you. However, this might not be to your advantage because if it gets hit, you'll still take damage. It will typically reduce the damage depending on the attack, but it will highly increase the knockback. So I would chuck that thing. Throwing it will work exactly like the Bob-omb item in the game, where if you throw the item, it will start walking around to an opponent and try to blow them up. However, this Bob-omb will only attack other opponents and will never attack the person that threw the bomb. The Boo item will turn the user invisible, allowing you to walk around invisible. I don't know how useful this would end up being, probably just about as useful as Hero's invisibility, in that it's not that much because there's still a slight outline sometimes. But you never know. The Fire Flower would work like it does in Mario Kart 7 and 8, in that the second you start firing the fireballs, a timer goes down, and you can fire as many fireballs as possible during that time frame. Or you can just fire one, because that can happen sometimes too. The fireballs will work pretty much exactly like Mario's fireballs, and instead of only being allowed to do as many as you want, you can only put 3 out at a time. This is still the same limit as all the other items, so if you have a banana on the board, you can only technically fire 2. So don't be placing too many things, or fire flowers will be useless. Now so far, I've yet to bring up Villager and Isabelle's pocket ability, and that is because it's pretty self-explanatory, but for this one specifically, I think it would be important to tell you. For the Boomerang Flower, you have 3 uses. You throw it once, it will come back. You throw it the second time, it will come back. And you throw it the third time, it will fly off horizontally, infinitely into the void, in whichever direction you threw it. Now, for Villager's Pocket, it can be grabbed during any of those, of course, but when Villager throws it, it will always be as though it was the last throw. So Villager cannot reobtain the boomerang unless somehow they catch it midair, and then they can throw it again. It'll be different from the actual boomerang item from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, in that no other player can catch it midair. At least I think that is something that you can do, but it won't be possible here. The Bullet Bill item will work exactly like the Bullet Bill item from the normal base game, in that the second you have it and press B, it will shoot you sideways as a Bullet Bill until you either hit a wall or fly into the blast zone, or I think it only lasts for like 2 seconds. But it shoots you pretty far sideways, so it's a good comeback move if you're really far, almost touching the blast zone. The Mega Mushroom does exactly what it sounds like. It will make Waluigi huge compared to all the other characters, giving him more damage and knockback when hitting the opponents. This will only last for around 5 seconds, so make good use of it. Now, the Mini Mushroom is only in one Mario Kart game, GPDX, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the arcade version. So this is only in that one game. However, this is also not how it's used in that game. The way that it works here is it will shrink Waluigi for 10 seconds, making him pretty vulnerable, which I think is a pretty good downgrade ability. The only one that he'll have that will be objectively bad. Now, there are some that are going to be bad in certain situations or whatever, but this is the only objectively bad one, and I thought he would need something like that to sort of balance out all of the insane things he can do. The Super Feather will give him a giant leap upward into the air that is much further than any of his other moves, and it's pretty cool. It's instant, pretty much, and works kind of like a teleport, but you can see him the entire time. And since it works exactly like a teleport, you can sort of tell Waluigi where you want to put him, and he'll go there. He can't go through ceilings or walls, but otherwise it's basically a teleport. Now forget what I just said about the Super Feather being the highest move, because this one actually goes a little tiny bit higher. And by a little tiny bit, I mean at least 2 Bowsers taller. Now, the only downside to this is that this one has a rhythmic tap you have to fly with in order to make the distance. You can still go high with it even if you just mash the B button, but you can't get the full height out of it. And for the final item, the Pow Block. This item will appear above Waluigi's head the second you activate it, and will do a rhythmic 1, 2, 3. The first hit will do a little bit of knockback, just enough to where they'll land back on the stage right in time for the second hit, in which they'll be launched a little further, but just in time for them to land back on the ground for the third hit, which will launch them extremely high and almost always into the blast zone above. So, don't hit the ground. Know the rhythm. Jump when you need to jump. This will only affect players if they're touching the ground. That doesn't necessarily mean when they're grabbing ledges. That will not count. They have to actively be standing or laying on the ground. Now with all the items done, let's talk about his dice block. First thing the dice block can do is that 1 through 10, just like with Game & Watch's hammer, will do more damage the higher the number. The second thing is that there is a -1, -2, and -3 that will heal the lower the number. So -1 will do the least amount of healing, and -3 will do the most amount of healing. It's not a whole lot of healing, but it's quite a bit compared to no healing. The final thing the dice block can do is do a +1, +2, or +3 coins. Now, like I said, we would talk about the coins later, so now is later. If you get 20 coins total, you will automatically be given a new item, the Superstar. This will work identically to the star item in the game that is already in Super Smash Bros. However, it will last a little bit shorter, and instead of making you completely invincible only, it will also add a little tiny bit of damage and knockback to your person. The coins, however, do not stay between stocks. So if you lose a stock and you're at 19 coins, bad luck, you're losing all your coins. With what I thought would be a really unique and kind of neat animation with Lakitu pulling you back up and placing you on the platform instead of the platform being the thing that brings you back on top. Of course, Lakitu would take your coins away, just like in Mario Kart. We're not done with the dice block, however, because one thing I forgot to mention is that the longer you hold down B for, the further the dice will be thrown, similar to Inkling and their bombs. So if you're hoping for a lucky heal, you just want to push down B for it to be sent straight up. What the dice is completely random and is not at all correlated to the length that you push down B for. So if you only push it for it to be sent straight up and it does end up being a damage, well, you're not going to get a good damage. And if you hold it for quite a while and send it flying forward and it ends up being a heal, bad news, you just gave them a slight advantage. One more thing to think about, the coins from the dice block will only be given to you if it hits. And if it's a coin roll, then it will only count as a 5. So that's pretty good, all things considered. Alright, so now that all the complicated mechanics are out of the way, let's get into talking about the more simple, normal mechanics. For his side B, he will have Shoulder Bash, which will work very similarly to Incineroar's side B, because if it is spaced correctly, then it will unlock a new gate popping up out of the ground, or popping up in the air, if you're in the air, and will push the opponent into the fence, shocking them and shooting them straight backwards away from where they were being hit. This move will not have a lot of range like Incineroar's. It will pretty much be right next to him. However, it will give you a slight side momentum compared to just standing there and not doing anything. For his up special, he will summon a giant tennis racket under him that will swing him up into the air. To compensate for his really good items from Mario Kart, he will not be going up very high. However, it will do a lot of damage if hit with especially the tennis racket, but Waluigi himself will deal damage during this move. For Waluigi's jab, he will do a smack, then a punch, then he'll do a big kick with his foot, pushing the opponent quite a distance away. For Waluigi's forward tilt, he will do a soccer kick, which will launch a small projectile forward that will roll on the ground and bounce a little bit. This can fall due to gravity under the stage, allowing you to kind of juggle the opponent under the stage if you'd like. For his up tilt, he will have a fist pump, which will basically just have him punch the air and will send the opponent upward. For his down tilt, he has a leg spin. He'll do one spin and then stand back up. This does a lot of knockback, but not a lot of damage. This is mostly just used as a get off me move. For Waluigi's forward smash, he will grab a pinball machine out of somewhere and slam it on the ground before pinning up his opponents in the pinball machine and then launching them forward away from him. His down smash will be baseball bat bash, in which he will hit the ground 3 times, and on the third hit will do the most knockback, and if you get hit with the first one, you are guaranteed, pretty much, to be hit with the last 2. For his up smash, he will have a golf swing, which will have mostly upward damage. However, it will have damage all the way throughout the swing, so it will go from to the behind him, to below him, to in front of him, to above him. But the sweet spot is, of course, above him, since it is an up smash after all. Which way the player goes depends on where they got hit in the swing. So if it's towards the back, they'll get just spiked to the ground. But if it's towards the front, then they'll be spiked forward. If it's at the top, then they'll be spiked upward. But the damage is at the tip. For Waluigi's neutral air, he will do a pose with a rose. That's what the move is called, and that's what he's doing. It'll do damage around him with a flowery kind of how Peach's moves look, with like the rose needles and petals flying off. But instead of it being pink or orange, like with Peach and Daisy, it'll be just traditional red, like a normal rose. For his back air, he'll have a backward racket swing, in which he will, of course, hit with his tennis racket backwards. This will do considerable knockback, seeing that he doesn't have a whole lot of range. For his forward air, he will swim forward slightly and then dive straight down until he either hits the blast zone or hits the stage. What makes this move good, though, is that if he hits an opponent, he will drag them straight down with him. And just like with Ganondorf's side B, Waluigi will be the one that dies first. For his down air, he will do a slam dunk, spawning a basketball, which will shoot straight down and spike anyone downward. However, if they're over the blast zone, this can be recoverable if they have some crazy, insane recovery, like Sora or Hero gets lucky with a zoom. For Waluigi's up air, he will pose like Mario's jump, making his fist glow with purple rage. If he gets the hit, it will spawn a coin in reference to Mario's up special. For Waluigi's forward throw, he will jump into the air and kick the opponent with both of his feet, landing himself on the ground, stalling for a second, allowing for the opponent or some other opponent to attack him while he's down. For his back throw, he'll grab the opponent by the tip of their shirt, spin around, and then toss them out to the garbage chute. For Waluigi's down throw, he will, instead of throwing them, slam them into the ground and stomp them, burying them. And finally, for his up throw, he will kick them, between the legs, sending them upward. Of course, on some characters, it won't be there. It'll be like in the face or something, like for Duck Hunt. But you get the idea. So for Waluigi, I thought of 4 different final smashes. And instead of trying to pick one, I just made it 4. When he becomes smashed up and ready to go, instead of just hitting B and using the final smash right away, it will start the roulette up once again. It will only have 4 items to pick from this time, though. Those items include the blue shell, the crazy 8s, the chomp whistle, or the Bowser space. For the blue shell, the second that you activate it, Waluigi will throw the blue shell into the air. It will find whoever's in first, unless that player is Waluigi. And it has to be the Waluigi that throws it, not just any old Waluigi. It will find that player and kill that player immediately. They will be sent straight to the blast zone. There's nothing you can do about it. For the crazy 8s, it will pretty much work exactly like it does in Mario Kart 8. It will spawn 8 different items. Those include 1 mushroom, 1 banana, 1 green shell, 1 red shell, 1 bob-omb, 1 star, and 2 coins. Whichever item is directly in front of Waluigi is the item that will be used, and no matter what, you cannot hold it behind you. Every single one of the items will count as a hit, but it will then lose that item. So if it hits the coin, you lose the coin. The star, the mushroom, so on. The only difference is if it hits the bob-omb, it will explode just like the normal bob-omb. The mushroom will immediately dash you, the banana will be placed, the green shell and red shell will be thrown forward, the bob-omb will be thrown forward, the star will make you invincible, just like the regular star item, not the special 20 coin one, and the 2 coins will of course give you a coin each. The chomp whistle will spawn 4 chain chomps. Just like the assist trophy, they'll sit in place, and they'll attack players, but there'll be 4 of them instead of just the typical 1. The Bowser space will spawn 1 giant Bowser through a portal in the sky. Then we'll suck up all opponents into the portal with a cinematic flash of dark Bowser magic or whatever, and then players above a certain percentage will be tossed to the side and eliminated. The costumes would be 4 normal Waluigis and 4 tennis outfit Waluigis. The first of each will be a purple variant, just the normal purple Waluigi variant. The second of all of them will be the Mario colors. The third will be Luigi, and the fourth will be Wario. It was a little difficult to do spirits for Waluigi because he doesn't really have a game of his own, but I tried, so here we go. We have Bowsen, I think that's how you say it, from Mario Tennis Aces. I think, if I researched this correctly, Bowsen is not that silver Bowser and is in fact the tennis racket. So that is why that's the ace, because it's the final boss of the Mario Tennis game, which Waluigi is a part of. There's the Waluigi Zipper from Mario Kart DS. There's Host Toad and Hostess Toadette from Mario Party and, well, Super Mario Party and the new Mario Party. There's Brighton and Twyla from Mario Party 6. There's the Star Spirits they're technically from Mario RPG and Paper Mario, but they're also Mario Party 5's hosts. So I thought that was pretty good. There's Lakitu from Mario Kart TV, from Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe. There's Tumble from whatever the heck game he's from. He's one of the hosts in one of the Mario Party games. You can see I was running out of characters. And there's the Super Team from Mario Party Mario Strikers. They are technically in the 2 games, but they're not really in the second one that much. So hopefully they come out in the next one too. So yeah, sorry about all the misconception and delusion of telling everybody that it was going to be Scorpion. I thought it'd be kind of a funny thing to do, but that won't be my next video. It'll be a secret project, hopefully next. I hope I have time enough to do it next. If not, I'll probably just do a Doctor Strange review, and then the one after that will 100% be Scorpion. Subscribe, and see you.